Let's go Rangers! Welcome to the At Leisure Podcast. This is a show about sports, video games, movies, and just basically things we do with our leisure time. The Texas Rangers are in the ALDS, believe it or not, after sweeping the Rays in Tampa. And I have a couple of fellow Ranger fans and returning guests in Brady and Gage. You guys ready? Y'all ready to bring the energy? Are y'all hyped for this?
Baby. Heck yeah, you know it, bro.
Yeah, let's get going, man.
I honestly, this has been such a roller coaster season. To be as excited as I am right now, I'm just so happy that the Rangers are good at baseball again.
Yeah, very true. It's been a little bit of a stretch here for us, but
first time since 2016.
Yeah, first series win since I don't even know when.
2011.
Yeah, 2011, 2012.
You plan a rebuild, but there's no guarantee it's going to happen. You know, no guarantees.
It's always great to see it pay off. I mean, us and the Orioles, who we're about to play, we just flipped it around super quick, and it's awesome. You know, it's great.
No, that's a really good point with the Orioles that we're about to face because we're identical, young and rookies.
Yeah, but I think we might. Well, we'll get to it, but we might have the advantage there because we have some guys that have been there and done that. So that'll be interesting. But let's just talk about this series that we just won in the Wildcard games. We absolutely dominated the Rays. It was awesome to see. What was y'all's favorite part about this series?
So I would say my favorite part was the pitching. Obviously, we had great starts, but we had two games where relievers came in and did not give up any runs. That is huge for us going into making a playoff run here. I mean, we know that the bullpen has been our Achilles heel all year, so if we can get quality starts and then 2 or 3 good innings of relief, I mean, that's recipe for success.
Yeah, I mean, for me, blowing up the Rays, I mean, it's exciting to see. Just getting the first win, man, I was so pumped. I was at work watching it. You know, I had to make sure I was watching.
We had to be.
Oh, dude, I was watching every freaking pitch while I was at work. Somebody come up to me, I'll be like, you're going to have to wait a minute, all right? It's very
wait till
important.
commercial.
Yeah. Especially when the first game was a 4-0. So it's a little closer throughout the game, I should say. But going to what Brady was talking about is the pitching, man. That was my big thing is our starting pitching, for one. Starting pitching for me was phenomenal with Montgomery and then Evaldi. I absolutely loved the games that they threw. I just went right at them. And the bullpens, man, I know, which we'll get into it with eventually with later in the podcast here, but Aroldis, it was good to see him go out there and throw a shutout, his one inning after what happened with Seattle. Man, I was screaming, hollering at the TV whenever what he did with the Seattle game. So, because we wanted with the division with that game is just so close, and
we should never pitch him back to back.
No,
never. I don't understand.
He's never good the second game, historically.
But yes, I think pitching is great. That's probably what I would have said if y'all hadn't said it. I mean, obviously, we have to have our starters go deep because our bullpen is so small and like there's only a few guys we trust, and we barely trust them. Mm-hmm. But for me, I think my favorite part, other than that, is Evan Carter is the truth, man. I cannot believe the Rangers out-scouted everybody for this guy. Do y'all remember when we drafted him? People were making fun of us. And I'm like, I have nothing to say. I don't know anything about the draft. So it's like, we can't make fun of him until we see what happens. But this dude nearly set the rookie record for the streak of on base before recording an out in the playoffs for a rookie, right?
I thought he got it. Did he not get it?
He got second.
No, Soler is first, I think, still at 9.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. For him, I mean, it's been a minute since I remember his draft, but I mean, like you were talking about, people were like, "What are we doing?" You know,
wasn't that long ago.
No, and you know, for him, looking at him, he's just tall, lanky, and like, you know, this guy can't really produce. And then, you know, he's got
when he hit a home run, I was like, "Oh my gosh, he's so skinny! How does he do that?"
Hey, speaking of home runs, by the way, I got 3 years, he's hit 27 home runs. In 23 games, he's already hit 5. You know, and that's not including the postseason, right? With this one that he just hit the other day. So, I mean, crazy. I don't know if something clicked or what, or just seeing the baseball really good. Which, speaking of his eyes,
hasn't it just been 2 years too? Like, isn't this his second year?
Well, technically in 2021 he had a few games. He
had
a few games. But speaking of his eyes, man, they were talking about it while I was watching the game, and that he takes, I think, how many at bats to like 3-2 counts? It was
25% of his bats go to a full count.
Ridiculous, and he
crazy.
When answering the question, I think he just said, "Hey, it just comes naturally. I don't practice anything."
Yeah,
I was like, Okay.
All right.
All right, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like to be that young and to be that disciplined, I feel like that's got to be the truth. Like, he hasn't had all those years of practice of
Mm-hmm.
seeing this pitching and like, yeah, like I've trained so hard. It's like he kind of just has it. But going to the home runs, that home run he hit, it just looked effortless.
Mm-hmm.
I
Dude,
mean,
yeah.
the dude's wearing, guess what number he's wearing? He's wearing 32. Little Josh Hamilton out there.
Yeah, a lefty.
I mean,
A lefty, huh?
just channeling that power up. I mean, last time we made a big run, Josh was a big part of it. So
Yeah.
glad to have a 32 in there making it look the same again,
Yeah.
you know?
This one might not be using a 36-inch bat though.
Hamilton might have 100 pounds on him too.
Oh yeah.
Crazy though, and that has been really fun to watch. And obviously, for me and Brady, Josh Young is our favorite player because we've seen him,
Tech,
from Tech growing into it, and he's played really well this year. And I was so happy to see him turn around that second game and really break out, hitting a lot of extra base hits.
He got triple.
So yeah, the triple was his least impressive hit.
Yeah. No, I'm happy for you guys because I mean. Yeah, well, we'll save the college stuff for later. But, for Tech, I'm happy for you guys. I mean, he's doing a heck of a job. I know they moved him down the lineup because when he came back after the injury, it's a little rough.
He was struggling.
Yeah, a little struggling. And, of course, being a rookie, I mean, heck, he's been, one of our anchors majority of the year. So, I was very pleased. And if you go ahead, Brett. I know you're about to say something. So go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, and if you listen to him, they were talking about it, and his thumb is still swollen from that surgery. Yep. Like he's like, it's crazy to think about getting power in your swing when you can't grip the bat all the way.
Sure.
So, it's just impressive what he's doing. And anything else? Like, obviously, we were much better defensive team than the Rays. Like, we've been amazing this year. Like, our defense has been a revelation. I feel like it's been so long since I've seen a Rangers team that just didn't make errors. I think they had 19 on the season, which is just absolutely insane. And so to see us play good defense and to see the Rays just absolutely collapse, like – we scored 4 that first game, but we probably should have scored 1 or 2. It was just like, and we were leaving runners on base left and right. So I kept thinking, oh man, we're gonna lose it because we're not capitalizing. But they kept shooting themselves in the foot, and Montgomery pitched such a clutch game that it didn't matter.
Yeah, going on the errors. I mean, what Corey Seager, I believe, I think it was the first game where he got in a wild pitch, and so it's one thing after another just started snowballing for him. Which was obviously awesome for us to watch. But at the same time, like being that potent offense that we had all year, and then with the minimalizing the damages for with defense. I mean, cutting guys down. I mean, Dolis, every time when Dolis gets the ball in the outfield, there's a guy on third, I'm like, this dude's out. Don't even go. Like,
I think they're learning too. Yeah. They're holding them now.
I hope so, because that dude's got a cannon. But I mean, our outfield, man, they're just so fast and so good.
And Evan Carter, man, starting the game off with that dive and catch.
And the thing is, with him going from, I believe it was center field to left field, that's difficult.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't talk about that a whole lot. That's difficult. I mean, running baseballs down in center is completely different from seeing a ball in left field. But up the middle, I mean, continuing, I guess, up the middle, of course, you're solid as all get out. So, Seager and Simeon don't get any better. So. Yeah, no, it was really good. And, I mean, is there anything else? Like, obviously, it was good to see our offense get going in the second game, too, because it's like we're going to need – like, we can't just rely on our starting pitching because we barely have starting pitching left. Yep.
So, we're going to need to score these runs. It's good to see our offense get going. Is there anything y'all want to say about that before we just dog the Rays a little bit?
You talking about just in general with the Rays or what?
I'm just talking about in the series before I just talk about how we need to relegate the Rays because I'm sick of them being in the playoffs.
I think we hit it on the nail. We need more offense, though. Pitching's not going to be there. At least we hope it is, but you can't count on it. So I think we put that to bed. So. Yeah,
I mean, our offense, they got a little bit of help the first game, but the second game, I think we have something to build off there. Hopefully we can roll that momentum over. I mean, sometimes all it takes is a little help to get the spark going. And I mean, it looked good in the second game, so
I will say this.
hopefully it carries.
I will say this real quick, Brett, is the one person, which we'll get player reviews here in a little while, but one person that needs to kick it back into gear for me is Marcus Semien. I know we talked about offense, but I looked at his stuff over the past 2 series, so one with the Rays, one with the Mariners. I mean, I think he's got like 1-2 hits in all those games. So it's frightening a little bit, you know. And I know that Bochy likes to put Grossman up there.
Get Grossman out of there. What are we doing?
I don't like Grossman up there, which I know. Look, I'm gonna go.
They're walking Seager to get to him, and it's like that's a no-brainer.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, and look, I'm 100%. Hashtag Bochy effect. You know what I mean? Like I'm all Bruce Bochy. But for me, like I said, Grossman, I'm not good about it. But Semien, for me, to go to mute point, is Semien needs to get it going.
Yeah, I agree. And I think those hits were probably in this last game. I think he had maybe 1 or 2. So, hopefully this last game is something to build on. And I was for sure that Garver must be hurt, because otherwise why would you not put Garver in? I know he's been struggling a little bit lately, but I feel like we'll get to it in the season. At the end, he was really on fire. So I'd love to have him in the lineup.
Yep.
I'm sure we'll have him in the lineup against the Orioles, I think, game 1.
Brett, by the way, real quick before we go to the Rays, Semien's last hit was the game that we won against the Mariners, 6-1. So
he didn't get a hit last game?
Mm-mm.
I'm pretty sure he got a hit. I think you need to, recheck that.
Let me recheck.
Because I think I remember him getting one in the gap in between left and
You're correct.
center.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Yes, 1. I'm sorry. 2. Yes, you're correct, Brett. I'm so sorry. I skipped a game. But put it like this, though. Whenever he does hit, we get more than 5 runs.
Man.
So,
yeah, and having Evan Carter bat last, I'm like, I almost want him to bat third, but I think it's cool to have him set the table for Semien, because he, had the most RBIs as a one-hole hitter.
But you are correct, yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought, baby. Let's go.
That's why it's your podcast, right?
All right, well, let's talk about the Rays a little bit. They set the record for the lowest attended playoff baseball game since 1919.
I can't help but laugh.
That's crazy.
I can't help but laugh, Brett. I'm sorry.
It's just ridiculous. I mean, I know it's a bad time of the day. I'm not a fan of the 2:00 start. Like, who's actually going to be able to go to that? But I mean, I promise you, if that was in Dallas, that place would have been bumping. It would have been a good time.
Oh, it's full.
Yeah.
Standing room.
I mean,
only.
I understand they played better throughout the season, but what are we doing? 20,000, not even 20,000 fans? I mean, come on.
And it's like this team wins every single year. They're always in the playoffs. And you can't get support like that. You need to be moved. I think that's like they need to take that team and push it somewhere else, because it just drives me nuts. It's like I can't even recommend my friends, hey, I hype up playoff baseball all the time. I'm like, playoff baseball, every pitch matters. Everything feels so intense. But I can't even recommend my friends watch this, because I'm like, the atmosphere there sucks. Yeah. It's terrible. It's like they're going to see that and be like, baseball is dead. And I'm like, well, I can't argue, because there's 19,000 people at a playoff baseball game. Where I'm like, no, you need to go watch the Twins play, because that place is rocking, and that team hadn't won a series since 2002. It's so frustrating to watch the Rays make the playoffs each year, and it's like, let someone else in there, because that fan base does not deserve it.
Yeah, or the Phillies. I mean, the Phillies, holy cow, man. When Stott hit that grand slam, I mean, chills. Just from the fans, man. I think ESPN put something on their Instagram, was like, hey, there's no commentators. Here's the Dolby 5.1 digital sound to just the fans, and him hitting the ball and just the fans. And, just being a fan of baseball, you just love it so much, Yeah. But yeah, honestly, man, when the Rangers scored, like, I could have swore I heard, like, maybe more fans than there was Ray fans. I don't know.
Felt like it.
Like,
probably so.
And going back to what Brady said, yeah, it's during the middle of the day, but man, you have that game in Arlington, like, that place is standing room only. You can't get any tickets, man. I think at one point when I was looking at it, while they were still battling the Mariners, like the first 2 games, I looked and like majority of that place was sold out for the Wildcard game. Of course, they didn't have it here, so they got refunded, but that place was almost already sold out, and they weren't even a sure bet to get into the Wildcard, right?
Yeah.
And so I know that they talked about, I know at one point, I don't know if it's still going on or not, but I know they're talking about at one point moving the Rays to back to Montreal or something. Or not back to, but going to Montreal or something like that, just to get a bigger fan base or something. I know now that they have in the works a new stadium, and it's gonna look it's gonna look amazing. But man, if I was those owners, like, I don't know if I'd build a brand new stadium right there. Like, that's just me. It's like the Oakland A's, right? They're going to Las Vegas supposedly, right? And the fans are doing like a reverse boycott. Well, how about you just show up to regular games? And they're not gonna leave Oakland. You know what I mean? Like, just show up to games, support your team. I promise you, they won't move. You're forcing the owner's hand. And I think the Rays are the same way. I saw a picture and like it looked like an average Wednesday game at the ballpark, not a postseason playoff game like it should be. Like, I feel bad for the fans who are diehard Rays fans who showed up.
Kind of feel bad for the players too.
Yeah. Well, oh yeah.
It's like they work hard and they don't get the atmosphere.
Man, I couldn't. How can you get support or like fight for that area? Like, why would you want to stay there?
Yeah.
So
not a great defense here, but in their defense, the stadium's not in Tampa Bay. The stadium is like an hour and a half drive away from there, which is so weird to me. Yeah. I don't understand it.
Where's it at?
It's in St. Petersburg.
St. Petersburg, yeah, it is. Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg.
Are they building the new stadium in the same place?
I don't know to be exact. Honestly, Brady might be able to help us on that one.
It says that it's still going to be St. Petersburg.
Okay.
What a weird decision.
What you mean?
I don't know.
There must be more to it. There must be more to it. I'm just sick of the Rays,
Oh,
so we don't want to spend any more time on them, but I just wanted to get that out there because I was frustrated with it.
Yeah.
Let's just look back at this season in review and just think about what we've been through as a Rangers fan base, because the offseason that we had was perfect. I was so excited about it. I don't know if y'all remember. It was just, I was like, we have the lineup. We need the pitching. And apparently, for once in my life, the people in charge agreed with me, and they just went out and they got pitchers. And it was awesome. I mean, we got DeGrom, we got Jake Odorizzi, we got Evaldi, we got Heaney, we got John Gray. And it was like, we re-signed John Gray. I think we got him the year before.
He was last year.
Yeah, he was last year.
And then we re-signed Martin Perez. And so it was just like, okay, we've got, like, this is a good pitching staff.
Dude, I could not believe that we signed DeGrom.
No. They had the best pitcher in baseball.
Everyone was like, he's going to be hurt so fast. And honestly, he gave us a little bit there. But it's just electric to have him on the field, though.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he showed up and people came. They were like, I got to see maybe the best pitcher ever. I don't know. Pitch a game. And I don't know. It was just awesome to see him out there. It brought life back instantly, which, I mean, it's not often that happens, but I thought that one was just incredible.
Yeah, for DeGrom, which, look, I might be usually when I show up to the Rangers game, we always win. I'm just putting that out there, okay? But
hey, buy a ticket to the playoffs, bro.
I was going to, man. I really was. I'm itching at it. I'll just put it like that.
Sold out.
Yeah. But I'll say this: I might be DeGrom's bad luck charm because the game that he got hurt, I was there. So I wanted to watch him pitch. I was like, come on, like I got to see this guy pitch. Like who would not go see this guy pitch, right? Just like Brady's talking about the atmosphere as a fan. I'm like, I have to go see this guy pitch. And so for me, it all started signing Bruce Bochy. And well, let me back up. It started whenever John Daniels left and Chris Young took the helm. Like that's when it started to snowball a little bit. And we didn't know what to expect with Chris Young. Being a full-on head GM, we didn't know what to expect. And then all of a sudden, here comes out of nowhere. I'm not even thinking about Bruce Bochy. The dude's retired. Like I'm not even thinking about this guy. He's getting banged up. I think he had some health problems. And
he said he's got two new hips or a new hip and two new knees.
Yeah. I was like, man. Whenever we signed him, like at first I was like, dude, screw this guy. He beat us. Like Like, I don't like this guy,
That was my thought, too.
Like, I was like, no, why do we sign this guy? Like, he's a loser,
Or a winner, but,
yeah, well, he's a winner, just not against, you know what I mean? He's got three, he's got 3 rings, whatever. And so when I first, like that, for me, once I got over that, but once we got him, that's whenever it started for me. It's like, all right, we got Bruce Bochy. Then when I got really excited whenever Mike Maddox came in, I was like, dude, I love Mike Maddox. I love that guy so much. I think he's great with
pitching
pitchers.
coach.
Oh, yeah.
Just so people know, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Pitching coach, man, I just love him. The way he interacts with players, the way he coaches, the knowledge of the game. And I think it just snowballed from there. You got guys to buy in. So what bought Bochy in was Seager, Simeon, right? And, the upcoming of Dolly, stuff like that. And then once we got Bochy, like DeGrom and everything just started to fall in place. Like, guys wanted to come here, because the coaching was there. And then once DeGrom came, it was like, okay, the snowball effect, right? Because I think
they're serious about winning.
Yeah, after DeGrom, we got Heaney. Right after Heaney, a few other guys came in, but we then got Evaldi, and then it was re-signing guys. So I mean, it was just one piece after another. So it was just fantastic.
I think you could say it even starts back whenever we made the new stadium. I mean, I was sad to see the old one go, but I think pitchers are more willing to come and play here now at the new stadium. It's not as hitter friendly.
Yeah, that wind tunnel pushing out from behind home plate out, like that was tough. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. And not to mention, it's just more comfortable. Like the elements are not going to factor into your pitching because it's 72 degrees in there all the time. They like to shout it from the rooftops, and I'm like, I get it.
Sitting on those
it's nice in there.
Keep shouting it
in the sun, man. That burned my legs.
Oh my goodness, those.
The Warriors that sat in left field out there.
Oh my goodness,
those days were tough.
You could always get on the jumbotron because you would be the only ones in that season. So the camera would find you.
The 2 o'clock Sunday games, man, those were the worst.
Oh man, just cooking out there.
Oh, yeah.
You bring water in like a cooler, and that cooler would just be melted by halfway through the game. Good times, though. I love that stadium, and I was also kind of sad. But then when I got into the new one, I'm like, I see why they did this. It makes a lot of sense. It looks so ugly from the outside. It looks like a big old metal barn. But when you get inside, it's a pretty stadium inside, and I think it's helped the team, like you said, Brady. And you could tell, like, there was energy. Like, our team started off so hot. It was so much fun to watch baseball. We literally, through the first 40 games, we outscored opponents 254 to 157. That is that is 100-point difference almost. That's crazy. We went 25-15, which should have foreshadowed some of our bullpen problems. But, like, really, it was so much fun to watch this offense. And it really was most of the season.
Yep.
But with that hot start, things were just moving, and then DeGrom got injured, as everyone predicted. And, they kept saying, oh, he'll come back. And then bad news, Tommy John again. And not to mention, Jake Odorizzi got hurt in spring training, so he didn't ever join the team, really. So we were down to 2 of our best signings were gone for the season. And thank goodness Evaldi stepped up and looked like the best pitcher in the AL for a while.
Like, I thought he was going to win the Cy Young before he got injured.
Dude was tearing it up. His splitter is so nasty. No one could hit it. No one could hit it.
No.
Dude, and he's one of those guys that has 4 elite pitches. I mean, a lot of people go 2, 3 that are, like, really good. And then the 4th is, like, a 5% of the time or whatever. But you don't know what's coming. He's got 4 just really good pitches. It's fun to watch.
When we signed him, I remember hearing on like MLB Network, they were kind of like iffy about him just because the past year or so. But I was like, what I remembered was Nathan Evaldi like just tearing guys apart at Boston, like
in the playoffs.
Yeah, in the playoffs. Like that's what I remember. I was like, this guy's the anchor of the team. Like it's not Chris Sale, it's Nathan Evaldi. Like, because I believe Chris Sale was probably, I think he was injured at the time. That's what I remembered of Nathan Evaldi is just, he was the guy, right? So that's what I got excited for. I was like, okay, who cares if he had a, bad past year or so, right?
On this podcast, I had a Boston fan on with me, Sam, if y'all were listening, and he wasn't that excited about him because he said he was super wishy-washy. Like, one day he would have the stuff of, like, a legendary pitcher, and then the next day he'd get just smashed. And it was like there was no consistency there. I will say the consistency, though, was that he didn't get injured.
Yeah.
And
until he did.
Until he did. But it was like that was the thing that he was telling us is he's like, hey, he's pretty reliable, and that's something we needed with our bullpen, who we knew was going to be a little bit suspect, and it turned out they were. But So he goes down on April 28th, and we kind of limp into the All-Star break, but we're still playing pretty good baseball, and we get 6 All-Stars in the game. We nearly filled the entire infield for the All-Star game for the AL, and that was really cool. Let's just jump into those guys' seasons real quick. If y'all want to, we can just talk about them here. I kind of want to start with Heim, who was, to me, the biggest surprise out of the All-Stars. I thought Heim showed promise last year, but then he kind of, his second half was not very good. And then this year, he has been pretty consistently an all-star level catcher. And his run production has been so huge. He's had the second most RBIs since Pudge played for us and had 101 in the season. So I just think that Heim's season was super vital to this team.
You're saying second most from catcher position, right?
Yeah, from the catcher position, sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. No, it's great to see. His offense is fantastic, but I mean, he's even better at defense. Everyone, I don't know, everyone is like, you can have an offensive catcher, you can have a defensive catcher. You don't really get both. And we hit the jackpot. I mean, this guy, he's a switch hitter that can hit home runs. I mean, he's driving in. It's just awesome to see. I mean,
we got him.
I haven't
as
seen a catcher like that.
Yeah, and we got him as a secondhand trade from the A's, part of the Elvis Andrus deal. They didn't even think highly of him, you know. So it's just again, good scouting by whoever's making those decisions.
And going back to the hitting portion, Brett, I know that this offseason, if I heard correctly when I was watching the Rays game, is they talked about he struggled with the left side hitting, right? When he switched hits, he struggled really on the left-handed side, and so that's what he worked on all season, was mainly the left side of his hitting, and it shows, right? So he's not just primarily really good on right-handed and occasionally okay on left side. So he's turned that around. I think that's really helped him out a lot, is having the other side come into play. And then going back to what Brady was saying, his defense, I think he and you guys should check this, I think he had the most stolen strikes out of any catcher, if I remember that correctly. For those of you who don't know, if the ball is outside the zone, he's able to get that ball back inside the zone. At least it would make it look like it's a strike, right?
He frames the pitch.
Frames the pitch, correct. And so I think he has the most stolen strikes out of any catcher. And the top 2 catchers, to me, right now is Adley Rutschman and Jonah Heim, and we're about to see both of them. And so both switch hitting. So it's fantastic for both these ball clubs, for one, but mainly for us, like Brady said, stolen guy, just producing for us. He's one of my shockers this year.
For sure.
Yeah, and did y'all hear the story they said about how he became a switch hitter? I thought that was cool.
Nah, what's up?
They said he was just in high school his freshman year, and he was just tired of batting right-handed, and so he just started practicing left-handed, then he started switch hitting in game.
What?
How do you pick that up, right?
Look, by high school, you're normally pretty set. Yes. So
I'll tell you right now, Brady, if I tried to hit from the left side, it'd look like a little girl out there on T-ball. Okay, I'm just being serious. It looks terrible. That's unreal. That's unreal. That's talent.
Yeah, I tried it out as a kid, but I got to junior high and I was like, I'm gonna just hit from one side. It's hard enough to do.
Yes.
All right, who do you want to talk about next?
I think Josh Young was a bigger surprise than Jonah Heim.
Okay.
True.
I think we saw that Jonah Heim had the potential to do it last year. He just didn't put it together for a full season.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Young, I mean,
being a rookie,
it's not often a rookie comes in and can become an all-star first year. There's normally some bumps and some reasons that they get kept out. I mean, he's competing against Devers and Ramirez.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. I just thought third base was a lock between those two guys. And even, I think Chapman was the other one. He started off really
Matt
hot
Chapman,
too.
Yep.
And so to see Josh Young beat out those 3 guys, I mean, that is I think that surprised me more than Jonah Heim just because of the competition he had to overcome to become the starter for the All-Star game. I mean, I don't know. He had a great season, but I think that's why that surprised me more than Jonah Heim.
Yeah, and going off the All Star, like of course he made the All Star break. So I'll be honest, like the young guys that we have, and the rookies that we have. I honestly thought we had a great first half of the season, All Star break. I was like, all right, this is typically when the young guys get figured out by the league, and they're gonna start falling off a little bit. And I was like, I really wasn't expecting, to be honest with you, a whole lot towards the end of the season from those guys. But man, he just kept producing. I mean, he just kept producing for us and was a big bat in middle lineup. I know he's batting, I think he batted, 7th or 8th last game?
He's 8th right now.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's a little struggle after the injury. But, I mean, again, I know Brad had stated earlier, I think it was pre-podcast, that his thumb is still swollen, right? So, that's tough. Of course you're going to have a little trouble coming back when you just had surgery, right? But
it's kind of crazy that he's back at all.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Right? I mean, I wouldn't expect him to come back. After I heard surgery, I was like, oh, boy, here we go, right?
Broken hand.
Yep. So, I mean, I actually agree with you, Brady. I think that's a bigger shock to me than Jonah Heim. Just because, one, he's a rookie, and two, I expected him to start falling off after a little bit, but no, he just didn't.
I guess that's a good point. For me, though, I believe in Josh Young so much that I was just like, I think he can do it.
That's just a Texas thing. That's just a Texas thing.
The only thing for me though is I was like, okay, his defense, he's not really a good defensive third baseman. And then I watched him go out there and just ball. And as soon as I saw him like string together like 20 games of him playing elite defense, I was like, he's an all-star. Like, I think he can make it because he's always been a good hitter. Like, ever since we started watching him, he's always been able to hit the ball. Now, his strike zone in the pros is different than college. In college, he walked constantly, but in the pros, I felt like he was striking out a lot.
He gets a lot of outside strikes called.
It drives me nuts.
He's got to be up there. I don't think it's necessarily all his fault. It is still his fault. He struck out on a fastball down the middle the other day, and I was like, "That's the one that got you, huh?" Yeah, but he gets a little cheated on the outside
all the time. Yeah, all the time. But for me, like, his season was awesome, and it was just so gratifying to see him play so well. So I'm with y'all. I mean, I can see why he would be surprising. I just didn't think Heim could do it. Well, I don't know. It was great to see both of them there. And then we get to the three guys that I think were a little more predictable. Maybe four, I guess, if you count Evaldi. Simeon, I think, played better than I expected out of those three guys. What about y'all?
Yeah, he was a hot start. Really helped us out in the beginning. And, I mean, he's kind of cooled off in the grand scheme of things since then. But, I mean, he's been a great addition to the leadoff spot. I mean, I think he went and had his most RBIs as a leadoff spot, right?
Yeah.
So he's, for me, I was like, him and Seager have to be like all-stars. Like to me, there was like no other option besides those two, right? And I know there's of course, great other second basemen and shortstops, but I was like, these two guys,
they were no-brainers.
Yeah, they were locks for me, right? Yeah. Especially with the season they were having. So, Simeon, ever since, I used to watch him when he was on the Oakland A's, and I wasn't too keen on him. I wasn't for the longest time, right? And I think it was good old Ron Washington. I think that's the one who turned him around, if I'm not mistaken. Fixed his defense. So he really helped him out.
Well, wasn't he? He was a shortstop when we got him, and we moved him to second.
Yes,
so
he played shortstop.
Like, he's got the defense.
Yeah. I know he had a little trouble with the defense there. I think he put more hours than he does now, but I think overall he's become a long way. So
my favorite part of Marcus Simeon is that he never misses a game. It's crazy.
Consistent.
Yeah.
I've never seen a guy play the entire season. Like, to play all 162 games is just outrageous. And it provides such a constant, like, leadership and stability. Even when he's struggling, he just feels like such a steady presence. And, like, I want runners on base when he comes up because I feel like he's going to get a hit.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's also part of Boch's strategy. I know y'all don't like Grossman in the 3-hole, but he loads the bottom of our lineup, and then Simeon and Seager both come up and they get a chance to hit him in. I mean, I don't want to spend too much time on that, but I think that's part of what's contributed to his great RBI season. I mean, leadoff hitters, they get on base all the time, It's just, do they have people to hit in when they get on base? So
But yeah, I think the bottom. Well, just to add to your points, the bottom of the lineup has been producing. I mean, Tavares down there has been producing majority of the year. I mean, getting on base
all-star
for
snub.
us. Yeah, yeah, exactly right. So I think there has been guys at the bottom of the lineup. Like I don't know. When you looked at like there was, and yeah, we could talk about Grossman, but top to bottom, like as the season went on, you're like, I feel confident with this guy hitting right now. No matter what spot it was, no matter it was 1 or 9, it doesn't matter. So, but you're right. I mean, I guess technically you could load the bottom half, especially now with Young down there. Load it for him, and then Simeon come up, and you just expect him to drive somebody in or get a hit, right?
Yeah, and I think we're gonna like focus on these all stars here for a second, but then maybe towards the end of the podcast, we just go back and like mention some players that had an impact on this season, and there'll be some of those guys that are at the bottom that really had some real big impact for us. But next, I kind of want to talk about. Let's go to ALDS, man. Like sometimes this guy is my favorite player on the team. Like he shows so much passion, and he's gotten so much better with his plate discipline. Like you can tell he's really worked at that, unlike Evan Carter, where it's just natural. ALDS really has to work at it. And you can tell that he has. And so that's been really cool to see. And for him to make the All-Star game again, I think people thought he might have been a flash in the pan, but he's another guy that we just got off of waivers. It's just like we just pick him up, and all of a sudden he's an All-Star for us, and he's been so consistent, and he's part of that. He's part of the team that lost 100 games, him and Lowe.
Yeah. Yep.
And so for them to power through and be in the playoffs now, I mean, I bet that just feels so good.
Yeah, for Garcia, man, what he played, I forgot how many years in Japan, right? So after having a bad stint here, but now I think that also gives you a testament to the coaching that we have. Like whoever has been really truly working with him in the off season, and throughout the season, I think you should probably give them credit too. But I mean, this guy's got a cannon, like he's just a all around beast, and he's fun to watch. Like he keeps the game
so much fun.
He keeps the game fun for everybody. Like when you watch ALDS, he's always smiling, has a big old smile on his face. He's loving the game, right? And he plays it correctly. I think he plays the game correctly. And so for him, when we first picked him up, he started playing right field for us. I was like, "Who is this guy?" Like ALDS Garcia.
I think he was a 28-year-old rookie. You don't really get a 28-year-old rookie that plays good.
So I was like, "What the heck? Who the heck is this guy?" And all of a sudden, he had a good season, right? And then he must have a one and done, right? And so you're talking flash in the pan, right? And all of a sudden, here he is again, second All-Star year. So
hey, he deserves this, man. I'm so happy for him. He's kind of the heart and soul of our team. Like no one on our team shows as much emotion as he does. And like you said, he was with us for that just terrible season. And I don't know, I'm so happy for him to get to do this. And I mean, hit a home run the other day, starting off the score, and that was awesome. I don't know, it's just fun.
And
to
who
see
else?
People that play with
Big
such passion.
Guy. Yeah. ALDS he's so much fun, and he's been really good. Like these guys who were all-stars, like they legitimately have been all-stars when they've been playing. Like ALDS gets in slumps, unlike some of these other guys. He gets in slumps where he just can't hit for a little bit, but then when he picks it back up, he'll be so good for 2 weeks, where he's hitting a home run every other game, or maybe 2 in a game, and then he'll take a break for 3 games and then hit another 2. It's just he's a very streaky hitter, but he's gotten consistent enough that he is an all-star to me pretty much all season. He's really fun. And then our guy, I would vote him MVP. Actually, no, I would vote Shohei still because he's doing incredible things. But if Shohei didn't exist, Seager would have been an MVP for sure. That dude is incredible to watch play baseball.
He came back after his injury, man, and just he never stopped hitting.
Picked up where he left off. Yeah,
I was like, this guy's been off for a little while. In that case, it might be a little slow start. Nope. Well, I think it was his first at bat back was a bomb, right? It's he just said, okay, I'm gonna pick back where I left off. I might agree with you, man. MVP caliber. What was his average? You guys might have it pulled up. I don't think I have it pulled up.
It's 340.
Upper threes, yeah, mid threes.
I think it dropped. I think he ended up losing the batting title to Arias.
Yeah,
anyways.
But yeah,
they sat him. He was scared.
Yeah, I might agree with you, Brett. Though But I mean, what else do you expect whenever we get Corey Seager and he's an MVP? I went and was able to watch the game in 2020 when they won the World Series, and I got to see him win the MVP of the World Series. Right, like when you get that kind of guy, what else are you expecting, right? And he comes over to Texas, and just performs, and he's continuously nonstop performing for us. Like one of my favorite additions before DeGrom, and of course we'll talk about the trade deadline here in a minute, so I won't give anything away. But he's one of my favorite ads as a Ranger fan in the past, God knows how long.
I don't think I really need to add much. I mean, it's Corey Seager. He may be best hitter in the world. I don't know. But
Let's pull up his
deserves MVP.
stats. Let's pull up his stats.
Yeah, let's see.
He was 1 dot, and Ohtani had him in the OPS, but
So he missed around 40-something games, and he still had numbers comparable to everyone else and surpassed many people.
Yeah.
He had – do you have his stats pulled up?
Yep. He had 477 at bats, so he had 327 average, so it dropped a little lower than what we thought. But he had 33 home runs, 96 RBI, and OPS of 1.013. I mean, come on.
To bet that OPS is outrageous.
I mean, come on.
33 home runs, 96 RBIs. I mean, he was just a monster.
Yeah, that's probably one of his better seasons. Yeah, that's besides 2015 whenever he came in with the Dodgers. He only had 27 games. I mean, so that's not really something you can lean on. He bat 337 that year, but this is his best overall season this year. And I know that he's been up and down above 300 for his career, but yeah, this year he has figured it out. Again, I think hashtag Bochy effect. I really do. Like, I love Bochy. I think maybe he just made it more relaxed for everybody. It's like whenever they talked about, which I'll just briefly, they talked about Josh Young for a second. Is whenever Bochy was talking to him, he's like, hey, just like, you hear me about 4-hole hitter, like just go out there and just be you. Like you're starting third baseman, you already won the job, just be you. There's no stress on you, and just have fun with it, right? So, and they call him the grandfather, right? Like he's just that type of person. So I think that it's kind of made baseball easier and more fun for everyone. So I think that I know we're talking about all-stars here, but I really do think that Bochy has a big effect on these guys.
Also for the baseball nerds, he was 7th in WAR, and for those of you who don't know, WAR is the more at bats you have, the better chance of it going higher, or you kind of need more at bats to go higher. And he was over 100 less at bats than all the people that were above him.
Yeah, WAR wins above replacement, right? So it's just saying it's trying to judge how many more wins you gave your team during the season. So that's why you need more at bats. Pretty insane. And then last Evaldi, we've kind of touched Evaldi already, so we don't really have to, I don't think, spend much more time on that other than just to say he deserved that All-Star spot, and he was playing like the best pitcher in the AL when the All-Star break came around, and he has nasty stuff, and he was just a lot of fun to watch. And thank goodness for him, because DeGrom got hurt. He was able to fill that.
Evaldi.
Yes, he carried us. He did carry us.
He did. And then we came out of the All-Star break, and we were on fire again. I think we won 9 in a row, and we were looking good. And then all of a sudden, we started having bullpen issues. And not just – I mean, we'd had some before, but not just the normal kind. We had historically bad bullpen issues. We had guys – it felt like it didn't matter who was coming out. We just knew – even if we had the lead, we were going to lose it when our bullpen came in. And so on August 28th, we had 25 blown saves to 24 saves. It was crazy. It made it hard to watch, to be honest with you, because it was like no matter how many runs we scored, we knew we were going to blow it in the end. It's just like watching the Cowboys lose on the final drive every single year. It's just but it was every game. It was difficult.
Get ready for Sunday, Brett, all right?
A little foreshadow, go Cowboys. But anyways, well, y'all, what do y'all think about that? Y'all remember that time? Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, for me, which he's been rough for the past year or so. But the guy for me that has been sort of consistent, at least in the grand scheme of things, is Jose Leclerc, and that dude is on fire right now. I know we're talking about how bad the bullpen is. But for me, he is the guy back there making it work. And I guess him and then we can talk about Chapman. We'll talk about Chapman. Don't pitch him back-to-back days because you saw what happened at Seattle in a very crucial game to where we were winning. And with the 9th inning walk-off, we lost. Could have had the division over the Astros if we had that game. But in the grand scheme of things, Aroldis has been doing decent. I think his ERA is at 3. But
yeah, and I'm talking about before we got him because we had Will Smith as our closer.
Yeah, Will Smith.
And that dude just went downhill so fast. And it's funny you say Leclerc because last year Leclerc was our closer and he was so bad.
He's bad.
I hated seeing Leclerc walk up on the mound because I knew we were going to lose again.
Yep.
And so for him to he turned the season around for himself and for our team in a way. Just crazy stuff. But, during this time it was Will Smith and, who else? Alderson, what was his name?
We had Brock Burke.
Anderson?
Anderson,
and Grant Anderson, which actually, Grant Anderson, he was the one that came out and, pitched,
he did great his
first
start.
immaculate inning something like that. His first outing. I was like, this dude pitches funky and everything. I kind of like it. This is interesting, right? And
it was exciting.
It's kind of I won't go into the whole detail, but yeah, I thought it was exciting. Now his ERA, let's see. If I can pull it up for a second. His ERA for the ending of the regular season was 5.05.
For your relief pitcher.
Yeah. And across
the their ERAs are higher because they pitch less innings.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, for a relief pitcher though. I mean, yeah, he had 26 games, 35 innings. But for relief pitchers, I think across the board our average was a 4.2, 4.3.
There was a stretch where we were in the 7s.
Yes.
Where our bullpen was in the 7s earned run. That's crazy to think. It was insane. Yeah. And it wasn't stopping. And then the trade deadline came around and we knew we needed to address our bullpen. So we got Aroldis Chapman. And he came out and he pitched pretty well. I think he gave us some stability back there to where we kind of stopped reeling so much. And we did kind of have him and then Will Smith and Leclerc. And then Will Smith, it was Will Smith, right? Yeah. He started to collapse too. And we couldn't even trust him. And that's when Spores came in. And Spores has been a revelation as well. He's pitched really good lately. And so those three have kind of locked down the spot. But for the longest time, it is insane that we even made the playoffs with how many games we blew. If we'd have just won half, if we'd have just been the league average on saves, we'd have won 100 games. Easy.
Well, it's a testament to the offense, right? I mean, if you think about it.
And Boch. Keeping everyone level-headed.
Yes, exactly. Well, I talk about Will Smith real quick. I just pulled up his stats. The last 2 games, just think about this, though. Those last 2 games, he hasn't given up a run. I know it's 2 innings. I understand that. It's 2 games. He hadn't pitched since Seattle. But his last 2 games, I guess 3 games overall, he's only given up 1 run, right? And we'll see. I'm hoping he turned it around a little bit.
What's his ERA?
His ERA for the year is going to be 4.4. And
your closer can't have a 4.4 ERA.
No, 100%. No, and I was expecting the Will Smith from, was he the Braves, correct? Correct me if I'm wrong. Was he with the Braves?
I don't remember where we got him.
Okay. But if I remember correctly, he was with the Braves. And he was just dominating, right? Whenever I saw him, I was like, "Oh, we got Will Smith!" Heck yeah! I was kind of excited a little bit, not as much as the other pieces we picked up, but I was kind of excited about being him in the back of the bullpen, right? Because we needed it addressed, and I thought that was a big help. But I mean, he just, like I said, fell off.
Yeah, and on top of our bullpen issues, we started having injury issues too. Obviously. At the trade deadline, we addressed with Chapman. We got Chapman for our bullpen, but then we also got 2 starting pitchers, Max Scherzer and Ty Montgomery, and it was what an amazing push, what an amazing get, those 3 guys, and it really helped. Is Ty Montgomery's first name?
Jordan
Montgomery. Yep.
Jordan Montgomery.
I was
sorry.
Don't think that's right.
Close enough.
Yeah. Jordan. I should get his name right since he just literally carried us our first game in the playoffs.
Diving catch.
So going on what you're saying, Brett, when I got Max Scherzer, I felt like the beginning of the season when we got DeGrom, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
What just happened, man? We have not just DeGrom, but we have Scherzer too. what is going on? Like, holy cow. You know, it was like the beginning of the season feeling. It really was. It was like like the clubhouse even felt it too. They're like, dude, this is like, you know, it's like that mid-season or late mid-season like refresher. Like the whole clubhouse just like, it's like a smile on the face when you walk in. You feel good. Like, we're freaking Ranger baseball. We're coming to just to demolish you. We got Max Scherzer, right? So of course we'll talk about it here in a minute with him, but yeah, and Jordan Montgomery, like I had watched him with the Yankees, of course, with the Cardinals, and was kind of like I was happy we got him, but I wasn't like sold completely.
He was kind of the second. He was kind of the second piece. It was like, okay,
Sure.
we got Jordan Montgomery also.
Overshadowed. I guess it's to say the least, you know. So
Yeah, I mean, it was great getting Max Scherzer. It's kind of funny saying that it brought a smile to people's face because I do agree, but they were interviewing one of the players and they were talking about Scherzer's days that he was the starter. They said, I don't talk to him on that day. He is so focused that
Mad Max, baby.
I think he himself said, you can talk to me, just don't say anything that isn't relevant to me winning this game. And it's just like, ugh.
But would you not,
I would not want that.
But would you not want that guy competing on your team, though? You know what I mean? Like,
oh, you would. I agree.
Like, I would be happy standing behind him in the outfield. Like, man, we're 3 up, 3 down.
Let you do your thing, man. Yeah, I won't talk to you if you don't want me to.
Yeah.
So
that was awesome getting him.
So cool, and it gave us a little boost again. But then he got hurt.
Yep.
And we just went into a free fall. At that point, we had Heim hurt. We had obviously the pitching issues. Young broke his hand catching a line drive.
Yep.
And then Adolis hurt himself in the outfield.
I think Seager
and it was like
went back on the IL too.
Oh, that's right. And Seager was hurt. And so all our All-Stars are gone. We're losing games.
Yeah.
And there was a stretch around mid-August where we lost 15 of 19 games. And our lead over Houston just shrank. And it was gone. And it's hard to watch baseball because it's so frustrating to watch us blow leads and not score runs because our lineup is a shell of what it was. And then Evan Carter got called up. And Mitch Garver got healthy. And those two, I felt like, carried us for a month. Where it was like he came up, Evan Carter was playing out of his mind baseball. Like you said early, I don't remember if it was before the podcast or on the podcast already, but where he came up and he already hit more home runs than you would have ever expected, you know, and he was providing a boost that you wouldn't have. I felt like he saved us a little bit. And Mitch Garver was the only guy who was consistently getting home runs and RBIs. And he was such a breath of fresh air after Heim got hurt of like, okay, we're going to be fine because Garver is back there catching and still slugging so well. And so they kept us afloat until all those guys came back.
Yeah, because they just held it, you know, stable until the cavalry came back, right? Adolis came back, Seager came back, Heim came back, Young came back. So it's like, okay, now we're rolling. But those guys,
we're getting healthy.
Yeah, 100%. Those two guys for sure kept us afloat. Honestly, my thoughts was like, as soon as all those guys started to get injured, I was like, what's going on? Like the season, like I was, you know, kind of iffy, rocky roller coaster the whole season, and all of a sudden, like now it's going on the downhill, right? And then all of a sudden, Evan Carter and Mitch kind of kept it like right here, and all of a sudden, like once the cavalry came, it's back to like, hey, like we can do this, we got a shot, right?
Yeah, I mean, even Josh Young was telling a reporter that they call Evan Carter the little savior.
Really?
That's
amazing.
Yeah. So it's cool that even bona fide MLB players
they notice it.
Yeah.
And so he earned his spot on the team, obviously. And in a way, the Adolis injury that brought Evan Carter up almost might end up being a blessing in disguise.
It was a benefit.
Yeah, because it's boosted our lineup to where we have another guy who is playing all-star level baseball in our lineup, and he's helping us go 1 through 9 in the order strong. What do you think? We had everyone back, and this team was it was like super mountaintops and then super low valleys. It was like we would win 10 in a row, and then we would match that with losing 10 in a row. And I don't know if it was ever that big, but it was close. You know, it felt like that. And so to end the season the way we did was, I don't know about y'all, but I was just so happy we made the playoffs, but so disappointed that Houston won the division again.
I was, you used the correct word, disappointed. I watched every single Mariner game there at the end. And
so did I.
Of course, the first game, I was like, okay, we're going to get number one.
We got this.
Of course, bullpen issues happen. But, man, disappointing is the biggest word. And maybe it stings more because it was the Astros that tied with us
yes,
in
it
the
does.
division.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean?
That's
why.
Yeah.
That's why I was just watching those games, man, and I just was screaming at the TV like, what are we doing? And of course, so think of that. So, quick side thing is it's the last game, right? The Astros get to play the Diamondbacks, and the Diamondbacks already know that they're in the wild card. Okay, well, I don't know if you guys knew this, but Bochy was pretty ticked off that the Diamondbacks didn't start hardly any of their starters. They just put all backups in, right? And here we are, we're facing.
Can't blame them.
Yeah, no, for sure, you can't. But here we are, we're facing the Mariners, and it's like a playoff team, right? They were in playoff contention a day ago, and so we're facing.
Honestly, they were better than the Rays.
Yeah, exactly. They were a tougher team than the Rays were, and here we are. We got shut out 1-0 in the last game, and I'm like, where's this potent offense, right? So it was before we played the Rays, because I knew how good the Rays were in the beginning of the season, and I knew their bullpen was really good, and ours was not. I honestly, I hate saying this as a Ranger fan, but I wasn't expecting a good outcome of this series. I really was not. One, because it was being played over at Tropicana Field, and I know that we had two good guys going on the bump to start, but I really thought the Rays offense might have got a hold of a little bit of them or put them out and got to our bullpen. And the way that the Mariners series went, I didn't know that offense was going to come back for a second, because you're talking about the whole roller coaster thing. Where we had which it wasn't 10 games win, 10 games losses, but somewhere on there, right?
It was close. Exactly, it was like
right?
9.
Exactly, right? So I really thought that bad stretch was starting to happen. So I was like, okay, I really don't. I was really sketchy on this whole Rays situation. So, yeah, it was very disappointing to see the end of the season, especially with the Astros winning the division. Cheaters. And so... so Brady, I mean, I don't know what else you guys say about that, but
yeah. I wish we would have won and would have been the winners of the AL West, but I'm gonna say the Mariners might have been a blessing in disguise right there. I think that might be the best pitching staff that we see, like, until the World Series. Like, their pitching staff is elite. I really feel bad they didn't get in, because they have a really good staff there, and they just started out too weak early on. But
yep, you might be right. The Orioles.
I'm kind of glad they didn't. Yeah, I'm kind of glad that they didn't make it, because they have a scary pitching staff, which is, I mean, that'll carry you through the playoffs there. So, obviously, like I said, we should have won that first game. That would have been nice, get the first place finish there. But it kind of, I think that was a good gauge of our offense there, and kind of get them prepared for playoff pitching. And then going to the Rays kind of geared up our bats again. So I don't know, maybe we even needed to play in this wild card series so that we could get back to hitting the ball again after that. But
yeah, I think that's a good point. And at first I was disappointed as well, because I'm like, oh, we're playing the better team, even though we had a higher seed than Toronto. But then the atmosphere at the Twins versus the atmosphere at the Rays, it felt like, oh man, we get ahead and they're dead. That stadium's dead. The team felt like they were deflated. So I agree. It ended up being in our favor. And also, we don't match up great with the Astros. So I like the idea of us playing them again later in the series, like letting us get playoffs, a few series under our belts if we're going to meet them again.
Sure.
So just the way that the bracket worked out has kind of been a blessing in disguise. I agree. But it was disappointing. And I wondered if we celebrated too early, because we celebrated when we made the playoffs. And I'm like, well, y'all still got work to do. Y'all got to win the division. And they didn't do it. And I guess I'll just say this in case people weren't paying attention to the Rangers. But we were set up to where we had to win 2 of our last 4 games against Seattle. to win the division and win one of our last 4 games to make the playoffs. Well, the first game we played Seattle, we blew a lead like we did all season, where our bullpen blew it. The second game, we came out and I believe
It's 8-0, I believe.
I believe they blew us out.
Yep.
And then the next game, we were able to win. And so we celebrated making the playoffs. But then we had one more game to win. If we'd have won that game, we'd have beat the Astros in the division. But we lost that game 1-0. And like we said, Seattle's pitching staff was great, but it was just super disappointing to have had the lead for almost over 100 games of the season and lose it there at the very last game.
I think it was like 148 games, correct? Something like that.
Yeah, in an insane amount of time where we were in first place. And so for us to lose it, I can't imagine how hard it was for the players, but it was hard as a fan too. And they referenced it many times. Like they literally had to fly over Dallas to get to Tampa. And it was like you could just see, like, imagine the whole team being like, we should be landing and resting. But instead we're having to play this series because we couldn't clinch the division. But, you know, sometimes the teams that play those wildcard games have an advantage because they're like fresh. They're like still in rhythm. And the teams that were sitting, the teams that were sitting, they got to get back into the groove of things. So hopefully that's what happens in the next series. But man, what a crazy season. It was so much fun. And then also so heartbreaking, and then so fun, and then so heartbreaking. And now it's fun again. So let's hope it just stays fun until the end. Yeah. Is there anyone y'all want to talk about before I get into the guys that I do?
Yeah, I mean, I know that you're going to get into this, but we're not here without Ezekiel Duran. I feel bad. He kind of got faded out. He stopped performing as well. But early in the year and throughout the middle of it, he was a reliable part of our offense. And, you know, it didn't end up going his way at the end of the season. But I just hope that people are appreciative of what he did for us and just the boost that he brought early in the season in part of our elite offense time. So he's the one that I really feel bad for him, the way it ended up. But I am also thankful for him.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, he hit more home runs than I thought he was going to hit. I mean, that dude had some great offensive numbers there for a while. So, I mean, he just...
At the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
He could have been an all-star. He had better numbers than Julio. And my internet went out. So, I believe we've lost Gage. And I guess me and Brady are going to try to finish this podcast out. So, apologize for that. But I know Gage believes everything we say and backs us up 100%. I know he loves us. I know it. All right, we're talking about the Ranger players that are left that we haven't really mentioned, and we've talked about Duran a little already. I want to talk about Nate Lowe. We've barely mentioned him in here, but that man is so consistent. He is such a quality hitter, and he won the Silver Slugger last year. He didn't quite have the same year, but he had a very close to the similar year. And he's another one of those guys like Adolis that was here in our losing 100-game season. So I'm just happy that he's a part of this winning team.
Yeah, he might not have had as good of a batting year this year, but he really focused on defense in the offseason. I think we talked about that a little bit. But he went and he worked out with Francisco Lindor is what I believe I heard, and he really focused on that. He's a good defensive shortstop, but they really focused on that, and he was more valuable this year, I feel like, because we had all the hitting. And so having that rock at first base playing defense, I think that was maybe more valuable than him hitting a little better like he did last year.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And it's not like I wouldn't call him a Gold Glove first baseman, but he's just so much better than he was last year that it just... You're right. It kind of makes up for that slight regression in his offense.
Right. He didn't hit bad, and so I'll take a slight regression for a leap and a bound jump on defense. You know.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And then I'm just thinking of some other position players. Have we talked about Tavares enough?
Probably not.
Yeah.
He also went through a pretty bad stretch there post All-Star break.
So bad, I think some fans were already calling for Evan Carter. Turns out, rightfully so, we should have Evan Carter up there. But Tavares didn't deserve the slander. I mean, he's still figuring it out. He's a young guy, and I think he's had a great season. His defense, one thing that kind of bothers me is every time he catches a ball, he looks in his glove, and it just kind of if you haven't noticed that, watch him catch the next ball. He'll do it. It's just like, are you not confident? You're a good defender. Why do you look at it every single time? But his bat was valuable early, late, at the bottom of the lineup, and it's come back alive towards the end of the season. So
Yeah, he was good in the series against the Rays. And also, it's just like when we were hitting in all cylinders, it was because he, Duran, and whoever else was batting at the bottom. Sometimes it was Grossman, but it was just like those guys at the bottom were just producing. So it was like 1 through 9, you couldn't avoid it. And he was setting the table really well for Simeon this year, being our 9-hole hitter. Defensively, though, I'm with you. He's an odd cat too, because it's like I feel like any ball hit in front of him, he's either got to catch it on the slide or he's going to get on the hop. He just cannot dive forward. I've never seen him dive forward. It's so strange.
that could have been taught to him though as a younger player, and so maybe he just can't break that.
Yeah,
Because if you
that's a good
dive
point.
forward as a center fielder, that's
Yeah,
a
you're really
cripple if you
risking
miss
it.
it, or even an inside of the park home run. So I sometimes I'm like, I think you could have got that, but
Yeah, same.
I'd rather you played safe than give up a triple or a home run. And I don't know. I get that part.
Yeah. Yeah, so he was key, and I'm glad we didn't. I'm glad he's figuring it out. I forget how young he is sometimes. I think he's like, what, 22, 23, but he just feels
I
like
think he's
he's
like
older
23.
because he's
Yeah,
been in the league for so long. But it's like Josh Young is older than he is. It's
Mhm.
like Josh is a
He's a
rookie, but
rookie. Yeah,
he played college ball and, uh, got his practice there while we saw Tavares just struggle in the majors for a couple of years. So it's just really
it's
good to see
okay.
him turn it
That's
around.
we were all struggling as a organization. So glad he
Yeah,
was able to pick it up when we picked it up.
exactly. And it's great to have them both up, Evan Carter and him playing well. So,
Yeah,
uh, how much better is it that they both play well than to have one instead of the other?
for sure.
Um, and then the last one I kind of want to touch on that's not really two guys that I want to touch on before we get into some of the pitchers that came in and out of the bullpen. Travis Jankowski is a guy who I didn't know existed until spring training this year, and they said he wasn't going to make the team, but Bruce Bochy like pushed for him to make the team because they were like, "Hey, I see something in this guy. He's playing really well right now. Let's get him on." And I felt like he provided a spark at multiple points in the season where he would have a clutch hit or he'd make a great catch in the outfield or, you know, he's got the long flowing blonde hair, so he's easy to spot. Uh, I don't know. I was just impressed by this guy, and he's like an older guy. Thought he might be out of the league, and he just hit the ball.
Yeah, a bit of a journeyman, you might say, but he's been very valuable. Like you said, he had some clutch hits, but his defense was most valuable. There's times where I was really worried when people hit the ball to left field. I didn't know if Grossman was going to catch the ball.
Or
Probably not.
Duran.
Or Duran. Duran played pretty well, but with Tavares out or not Tavares with Jankowski out there, he just covered left field, and uh, it's valuable to have a good defensive player. And then he would get a single every now and then that was clutch, or a couple doubles. I think he had like 2 or 3 home runs, not many, but I felt like they were very timely when they happened. Uh, I don't know. He really just felt like a true veteran person out there. Veteran experience for a young team.
Yeah, yeah, and boy, he almost had one of the best catches I've ever seen. He didn't. It hit his glove and bounced out, but boy, that guy I think is just a highlight waiting to happen out there. It's cool to see him track a ball, jumping over a
Absolutely.
fence.
Hedges would agree with you.
Yeah, yeah. And then there's another guy, Josh Smith. and I think we've talked about it. We've had kind of a love-hate relationship with this guy because we like him, but he played third base, and we didn't want him to do too good because we wanted Josh Young to have a spot there. And as soon as Josh came up and started playing well, then it was like, okay, we need this other Josh Smith, to be a utility guy. And he's such a weird player because I feel like his stats don't show like his value, like how good he is at baseball. Like I feel like he always has quality at bats, but if he strikes a ball hard, it's going to go right to a player in the on the defense, or uh, he'll walk, he'll battle for 9 pitches and then strike out. And it just feels like those are his options.
Yeah, he has a bit of power. I think whenever he was in the minors, they projected him to be like a 25 home run kind of guy, which I felt was a little outrageous after seeing what he did in the majors. But
Holy cow!
every now and then it flashed a bit. But like you said, he just has quality at bats. He runs the count full quite a few times, and he'll make the pitcher work even if he strikes out. And obviously, you want a guy on base more than you want someone who works a pitcher. But and the bottom of your lineup, that's pretty valuable still.
Yeah. I will say I don't want to see him in the lineup. I don't think. I'd be happy to see him on the base paths, but we've got more productive hitters. But he contributed this season.
Now that Evan Carter's up, we have an outfield that should be locked every game.
Yeah, exactly. And then let's dive into some pitchers, unless there's anyone else you want to highlight.
Nah, that's good.
There are players that come in and out. I think of like JP Martinez, and you've mentioned Hedges, and guys that come in, they provide a spark, and then they go back down. And it's just crazy. Baseball is just such a marathon. Like so many, it feels like a TV season. There's so many like players that feel like characters that come into the picture and then leave the picture, and there's ups and downs and emotional swings, and then there's players that like fall from grace, kind of like Will Smith we talked about, and then there are redemption stories like Leclerc, and just so many ups and downs. So we could have talked for a while about players that made an impact this season, but I just want to touch on a few more just pitchers. Part of the Montgomery trade was we got Stratton as well, a pitcher, and he's been good, not great, and we just used him into the ground at the end of the season. I don't know if you noticed, but I feel like he was out there every game.
Yeah, poor guy he was just eating innings when our pitching rotation was down, our bullpen was struggling. They're like, Stratton, you tell us when you're done because we just need whatever you got.
Yeah.
And he kind of just
every
got stuck
day
out there. Yeah. You got to have people do it, and we're very thankful for it.
Yep. I'm glad he's on the postseason rotation too. I hope he can eat some innings when we're winning,
Absolutely.
And then we had a guy, another rookie from Baylor, Cody Bradford, come in, and I was kind of shocked that he got the call up before some of our other like stud pitching prospects. He'd been pitching pretty good in the minors, and he came up and kind of got blasted. I can't remember who he pitched against, but it was like one of the Braves.
Against the Braves.
The best offense in baseball. And so
and I think
he
really just had one really bad inning, and I think the rest of it was not awful, but it's hard to bring someone up and say, hey, by the way, your first team is the Braves.
Yeah, we did him dirty there. But he was up and down all season, and he's on the playoff roster. And I feel pretty confident in him giving up 1 run every 3 innings. That feels like his kind of pace. I think he has a pretty good command of the strike zone, but he's got hittable stuff. If that makes sense.
He doesn't have the velo that people have. I think he has pretty good break, but I feel like everyone has good break now. So if you don't have the velo to match it, it's hard to be a great pitcher now without that velo. But I kind of like him as a reliever, as a like long relief
change of pace guy.
Yeah, your starter comes out after 5 or 4 innings. Maybe not a great start. You throw him in there for 2 innings, and if he hasn't given up that run, you better pull him. But I just kind of like what he gave us out of the bullpen later in the season uh, when we asked him to.
Yeah, I agree. And then we had Hernandez, who started the season kind of rough and then came back and started pitching really well and got hurt right before the playoffs. And that's a shame because I liked when he was coming in here at the end of the season.
Yeah, it's always tough to see an injury. I hope he can get back to the person he was right before it, because he's had his bumps along the road as well. He's struggled a bit, but I mean, hope the best for the
coming
guy.
around.
Injuries,
He's coming around at the perfect time, and I hate that he got hurt. But it's so crazy with pitchers how often it just feels like it's got to be a confidence thing, you know? Like it just feels like relief pitching is all about confidence.
Absolutely. You don't have multiple innings to come in and maybe you give up a run one inning and then you go solid the rest of the way like some starters. You only have one inning. You gotta perform when you go out there.
Yeah. A lot of pressure. Let's talk about a few starting pitchers. John Gray got hurt right before the postseason also. He should be pitching this weekend against the Orioles, but he won't be. And it's a bummer. Another pitcher getting hurt for us. We're thin at starting pitcher. If you haven't noticed, if we haven't got that from the podcast, we are thin. So instead, we have Heaney, who we've talked about a little bit. We got in the offseason as kind of like a fifth guy, a fifth starter. He's going to be starting game 1 for us in the he's starting for us in the first ALDS since 2011. So, what are you going to say?
Hey, he is in the Hall of Fame actually. He got his hat, I think, was retired after he had the 9 straight strikeouts this season. So
Hey,
just dial that up.
We just just do that again, Heaney.
Yeah.
I like him. He's from Oklahoma. He's a pretty reliable guy, and I feel like if he gives up 3 runs, that's pretty much what we're expecting from him. Like if he gives up more than that, it's a bad start. If he gives up less than that, that's a great start. But 3 is kind of the benchmark, in my opinion, of like, hey, you throw Heaney out there. If he holds him to 3 runs in 6 innings, I think that's a good start for him.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. How many innings for those runs? 6 innings. That's good. We're going to need our offense to be alive for sure.
Yes, exactly.
That's kind of the key to our whole season, basically, with all the injuries.
Yeah. And
except going back to John Gray, he had quite a few starts in the middle of the season when we had hot bats where he would give up 1 run or 2 runs and he would get the loss. And it was just like everyone else is getting, 5 to 10 run support. And this guy, he's pitching 7 innings deep, giving up 1 run, 2 runs, and he just can't get the run support.
It is weird how that works sometimes. That's why the wins for pitchers is kind of like a meh stat for me.
Absolutely.
But with this Heaney, talking about Heaney, I think who might help him, I think it might be a 3 inning kind of thing, is we might throw out Martin Perez. And if you're a Ranger fan, you know Martin Perez. He has had quite a journey with us. Last year, pitched the best of his career. He had like a sub 2.5 ERA, and he was just a really solid pitcher. And this year, he went back to who he had been beforehand, which was kind of a struggling fifth guy in the rotation kind of pitcher. But then we moved him to the bullpen here at the end of the year, and I thought he really looked sharp, and I was impressed with like his transition. So hopefully, maybe if Heaney starts to get a little shaky, we can just bring in Martin, and he can go some longer innings.
Martin was really hurt by the rule change of the shift. He's such a ground ball pitcher that you could position your defense to really help that out, and now you can't. And I'm in favor of it. I kind of was tired of the shift. but I think that's why he's not doing what he did, because he had a lot of. I think he was one of the highest double play pitchers in the league last year, and it's just because you can position where they're going to hit the ball, and so he's really been hurt by that. But I agree, coming out of the bullpen, he's looked a lot better, and that would be a nice sight there to see.
Yeah, it would be just with his history with us. If he could give us some great innings or maybe pitch out of his mind one time, that would be just so gratifying. So gratifying.
Absolutely.
If you don't know his history, we drafted him. He was going to be one of our phenoms. He never really worked out. Then he went to Boston for a while, and he's come back and had his best year last year. And he just feels like a guy who really loves the Texas Rangers, And so it would be cool if he could do something here in the postseason, his first postseason with us, I believe. Anyone else you want to highlight? I feel like we've hit a lot of players here.
I think we've hit most of the players. Like you said, it's kind of a TV show where people just come in and leave, and so I don't think we can really hit everyone who had any kind of impact. But I think we got the main
highlights.
Yeah.
So we're here. This is our series versus the Orioles. Where do you think they have the advantages? Who should we be looking out for? And then I guess, how do you think this is going to go? Do you think the Rangers can pull this off?
So I would say advantages would be their relievers. I feel like you could say that about anyone, but they've had good relievers. However, they got bit by the injury bug as well, and their best reliever, Bautista, is out. I hate to hear it just because I hate injuries, but with that being said, we have a lot of injuries too, and this one's pretty key for them, and it could help us quite a bit because their other stud reliever, Cano, we faced him earlier in the season, and we kind of hit him around a bit. We shook him a bit, so he'll probably be looking for some revenge, but I would say it is still a stronger point for them than us.
Yeah, and I would say, I would also say that, and I would also say starting pitching too. I mean, if we get the Jordan Montgomery and the Nathan Eovaldi we got, and if they're able to pitch in this series, then that would be amazing. But I am not expecting those same kind of performances against this lineup for the Orioles. Like I said, we're starting Heaney, and then I don't know who would be game 2. I think maybe Montgomery again. We gotta, I don't know, get Dane Dunning in there at some point. Did we talk about Dane Dunning at all?
I'm not sure if we did.
We need to talk about Dane Dunning. That dude pitched more innings for us than anyone else, and we just forget about him. And that is what happens to Dane Dunning. He is such a steady presence, and he's not like, he doesn't have amazing stuff, but he has really good stuff. And at the beginning of the season on our podcast, I kind of downplayed him, and I said he's a guy we throw out there sometimes. Well, he shut me up, and this year he was a guy that came out there and just pitched so well, had his best season by far. And honestly, Bruce Bochy said he saved our season because of all the pitching injuries that we had. He would come out and he would go 8 innings, 7 innings, and give up 2 runs, and it was just like, just every time you knew, okay, we have Dane Dunning coming up, we're going to get a good performance. So what a stud Dane Dunning was, and I hope that he gets to pitch in this postseason because he deserved it. He earned it this season, I think.
He did. I mentioned it, I think, probably just talking to you at one point, but I kind of felt bad for him because he had shown some flashes of maybe being a good starter last year. He definitely had a lot of struggles, but there were a few games where it's like, oh, maybe he is good. And he was kind of they interviewed him, and he said he was kind of devastated whenever the Rangers signed so many starters, and they told him he was going to be a bullpen pitcher because every starter wants to be a starter. You don't want to get moved to the bullpen.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that he took like a day to kind of be sad, upset about it, and then he just went to work, and he said whenever they do put me in as a starter, because everyone knows the baseball season's long, people are going to get their chances. He said, I'm going to make it where they can't take me out. And He kind of did. He gave us
Not
those
kind of.
innings.
He did.
Yeah, I say kind of because it was helped by the injuries, but um, he went out there and he performed. And honestly, it was a loss to not have him in our bullpen anymore because he was outstanding at the beginning of the year in the bullpen too.
That is a
So
good point.
uh, I've just been really impressed with him, and I'm happy that he's getting his chance, and I hope he gets a start in the playoffs because he's earned it.
Yeah, yeah. So his stats this year, he had 12 wins, 7 losses, and a 3.7 ERA in 35 games. That's awesome. 35 games from a starting pitcher is like that's all you can ask for.
Absolutely,
He pitched 172.2 innings. That's
that
so
is
many.
that is pretty crazy.
So props
Goodness.
to him. I'm sorry it took us so long to say it. I'm sure he'll never hear this podcast, but if he does, I hope he listened long enough to get to this point because
Yeah, hopefully.
he was great this year.
Yes.
But back to the Orioles and the Rangers. I think that we're going to really need to watch out for. They are a young team. They have a lot of young studs. We have a few, but I feel like they have more, which is shocking. They've got a Gunnar Henderson, who's going to be either a third baseman or a shortstop for them. He plays both. Is a stud. He's a great defender, great hitter. And then their catcher, Rutschman. I can't quite remember.
Yeah, Adley Rutschman.
Yeah. He's probably going to win Rookie of the Year. And
No, he's not a rookie this year.
oh, he's not.
No, he was
Who's
a
going
rookie
to win it
last
this year?
year.
Don't they have the no?
Gunnar
they
Henderson's going to win it.
don't. Gunnar Henderson. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Or probably
I had
gonna
those
win it.
flipped.
Yeah.
But I would say Heim is probably the second best catcher behind this guy, and that's kind of a bummer, but I think we'd have that advantage any other time. So hopefully Heim just outplays him, and I can say actually Heim is the best.
That's debatable. Heim's a better defensive catcher.
Yeah, but those two I think we're definitely going to have to look out for. They've got a good player in Mullins in the outfield. Their first basemen are pretty good, O'Hearn, and then Mountcastle or something like that.
Yeah, Mountcastle.
And then they have a better DH, unless Garver is on one. And then sometimes I think Garver, he gets in streaks where he's a great hitter. So
For sure.
but their DH is Santander, and he's pretty good. So
Mhm.
I think those in the lineup. I think no, you don't think it's Santander?
No, I agreed. Yeah, I said.
Yeah.
Sorry. They also have Austin Hayes. He's a really good outfielder and hitter. I think he bats in the middle of their lineup as well. So they have a solid lineup. And like you said, it's also really young. But they have, I think, maybe 3 rookies they called up that we might see. And I feel like rookies are always just a wild card in the postseason.
Yeah.
It could be like Evan Carter, who just goes out there and dominates, or it might just be too big for him. But they got a guy named Jordan Westberg who came up and played pretty well for them, and Kesterjad. I don't know how to say it. I don't have a clue how to say it, but he's also an outfielder, and he's a rookie this year. But they're just a really young team, and that could maybe play out in our favor as well. I don't feel like they have a ton of people with experience like we do.
Yeah, and it's funny to say that like we do, but it's a lot of guys who had experience not on the Rangers.
Right,
It's like
right.
Seager and Simeon and Evaldi and all these guys who've played some really high leverage games. And Seager literally winning an MVP. So it's just like
That's quite a bit of experience right there.
it really is in 3 of your best players. So I don't know. I think we can do it. I mean, after this race series, I'm kind of feeling good about this team, and that's normally when things are dangerous. So I think though that we're playing with house money. Like we're ahead in our rebuild. So is the Orioles. Both of these teams are ahead in their rebuild, and so I think it's going to be a fun series. I hope, I'm excited to see playoff baseball atmosphere, unlike we got with the Rays. And
Yeah,
man, dude, I cannot wait for tomorrow.
dude, I'm also super excited. We kind of got a little taste of the playoffs going against the Mariners. I think I already mentioned that, but their atmosphere was playoff atmosphere. It was amazing. Shout out to Seattle for that series.
Well, screw them a little bit too, though, right? If they'd have
Uh,
just let us win one more
yeah,
game.
I already told you
But
my
hey,
opinion.
everything's
I
working
think
out.
we
Everything's
ended up
working
in a
out.
good spot here.
All right. Well, anything else you want to end it with?
No, man. Let's go make a run here. Bring some
Yeah.
magic.
What about you, Gage? Oh, that's right. That's right. He's not here.
That was mean.
I know it's my fault too. It's my internet that went out. We're having to do this later. So we love you, Gage. Missed you here at the end. You'd have probably given us some pretty good insight. But hey, we'll have to come back when we win the World Series, and we'll just do a whole breakdown of the magical run.
He probably would have got us real hype at the end as well.
Yeah, he would have. He'd have brought the energy.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, we'll have to just bring some energy ourselves. So go Rangers, man. I'm so excited. And thank y'all for listening. As always, like and subscribe and give us the 5 stars, and see you later.